You are my buddy, you're my best friend. You are my buddy until the end. Hey guys, welcome to the Bear's Den. My name is codename Big Bear, or Stuart, if you want to call me by my first name. Excuse the cold open a little bit there, because this game I'm going to be talking about today is flipping weird. It's a really interesting little indie title, I guess, called BIGBEAR HOMEGROWN. Now I'm just going to read off what the blurb says on the Switch about this game, because it's probably the best explanation. I'm going to show you some footage while I was doing it. An old man escapes from the clinic where he spent his whole life and returns home. He remembers his childhood, his toys, his monsters. So you play as an old man named David who has escaped from a clinic he's been at his whole entire life. As the blurb says, you go back to your family home. Now when you get there, you are somebody probably in their 80s, you're using a cane. David talking to himself the entire time, to kind of get the narrative across. But the house that you grew up in, I suppose, it looks like a crack den. It's got scribblings across the walls, there's blood on the floor in one area, and it's just not exactly a homely place anymore. But you kind of wander around this game and you find different areas and things you can interact with, and once you interact with them, you can choose to remember or not just now. If you choose to remember, you get your story starts to unfold. And one of the first ones I did, you basically play David as a young boy, 9 years old. In fact, you play David as a 9-year-old boy through most of this, to be honest. Yeah, he's kind of in this weird garden. He's not in his house. It's all black. It's got weird trees. You can't really see where you're going. You just kind of wander around doing your thing, and you eventually stumble across the things you need to interact with. You interact with your mum. This is what it says on the. No, it says person. Strange person. It might say mum. I can't remember. Even though I only played this game like very, very short ago. But you interact with a person, and they give you this stone, and then you kind of, the ice cream man's turned up. You get the stone, and you eventually collect these throughout the entire game as well. But there's like a mystery unraveling as you go. But as you come out of this garden, you end up going into your own home, and you are greeted by the sight of your parents, your dad and your stepmother, who David refers to as stepmother Jacqueline throughout the entire game, and his dad as Pops. And they're basically berating you. You snuck out the house. You're 9 years old. You shouldn't be out there in the dark. And Jacqueline seems to be kind of saying something isn't quite right with the garden. What if David finds something? What if she finds what you got in that shed? That type of thing is what she's saying to Pops. And Pops is just kind of very like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. On to bed. And she's like, nah, I ain't gonna punish this little kid. Because she's just worried. Well, at first she comes across as a massive tool. She's a horrible person. At least that's the way it came across. Also came out of left field as well, was having a little conversation. Next thing you know, these guys are fully going at each other, yelling and screaming kind of thing, and waving their arms about. Now obviously when I say yelling and screaming, I do mean it in text form, because this is a Pixar style game. It is made in a retro style. But anyway, they're arguing. David decides to go to bed. Fair enough, he goes to bed, and then he wakes up next day and keeps on going back to memories. You go back to old man David and you find a different memory, and you kind of do the same thing, and you find out what's going on. And it turns out that David's dad is obsessed with something that's in the back garden, and all David wants to do is play with his buddy, who is also in the back garden. Or at least that's where he is. I assumed it was his robot at first. Spoiler, it's not. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, of course. But anyway, so the story kind of unfolds, and that's pretty much the entire game. You do go through these kind of dreamscapes as well, and you see flashbacks of your parents way back when, talking about the thing that's in the shed, and kind of what happens to David's mum as well for Jacqueline to step in. It's not very long. It's only about 40 to 90 minutes. That's what it says on there. I think I played it for about an hour in total, and then kind of went back just to double check a few things. But there are a few things to come through. Slightly more what you anyway. First off, in the middle of the game, you get to play the game within the game, and it's kind of a side-scrolly like shooter thing. You know, little gunship, shooting away, blasting enemies as you go. I was actually quite excited to play this. This is one of the things I saw in the trailer, and when I got to it, I was very, very short. I was a little bit disappointed. But that's not to take away from this game. I'm actually very, very confused about this game because I don't really know how to rate it. Because it's so short and it's so weird and so out there. And also, it's only part 1 of a 3-part story. So, considering how short it is, I imagine the sequels will be just as short, and I'd rather just play them all at once and rate the entire series as a whole. So, yeah, giving it a score right now is going to be pretty difficult for me to do so. So, at the moment, let's just say it's well worth it if you enjoy an interactive story and you want to get suckered into something. Because this really did suck me into it. At first I was like, I'm not sure about this. I got this weird like tree that kept getting in a loop. Conversation loops happening a lot, by the way, in this game. I have that quite a lot. I think it might be me being an idiot and not remembering what buttons I pressed. But yeah, you do get stuck in conversation loops quite a bit. But this game is just, it's so trippy. It's so out there and odd. And you're playing this mischievous old man who is not mischievous, kind of more just kind of little rapscallion of a child as well. And you find out that he's been in this clinic for, I'm assuming, probably about 70 years at least. Because this has got to be set in the 90s, early 90s, judging by the game that David plays and some of the toys that he has. And the fact there's a Mega Man reference at some point in there as well. Then obviously you're an old man by this point as well, so I'm guessing you probably, like, I don't know, you're in 2040 maybe? 2030? 2040 actually, I'm 32 myself, so if I do 70, yeah, let's go from there. But either way, it's, yeah, it seems like it's set in the future, but we won't know that, or I don't know. There's no real kind of major clues as to what time period you're set in until the next game, I'm guessing. And I'm not going to tell you who Buddy is, I'm not going to tell you who anything is going on, I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to show you anything that's going to be spoilerific. But yeah, I know, I've kind of been rambling in this one, I apologise for it, but it kind of goes very well with Breeder itself. Oh, it's gone and turned off. There you go. It kind of goes very well with Breeder itself. It just seems like a very strange, non-linear story. You can kind of start these memories as and the way you choose, and it will kind of, well, the narrative will change accordingly. I imagine there is an ultimate narrative throughout, and I think I did pick it for the most part. I might have got one bit in the wrong place, but you just have a lot of fun with this. You could go back and really change the narrative and see how it plays out to you, and see how that affects you when you're playing this game. But you know, you can just go willy-nilly with it and have fun. You still get everything that you need to get and all that information pieced together because it's so short. It's like watching a film, so like Pulp Fiction, everything's kind of jumbled up, but by the end of the film, it all makes sense. Pulp Fiction probably wasn't the best example of that. But yeah, anyway, so that's Breeder. It's an interesting game. I believe it was on Steam as well. It is on the PlayStation 4, I believe it was on Xbox and Switch. I could be wrong. If I am, there's going to be a little something at the bottom here to tell me that otherwise. Yeah, if you want like an interactive story that's just interesting and bizarre and out there, then yeah, absolutely play this game. I'm not going to give this a score. We are reaching out to the developers, and by the way, thank you so much for this game. I really do appreciate it. It's a really cool thing you're doing for us. But anyway guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, check us out on our website respawning.co.uk for more great articles. Have a look at Javier and what he's doing at the moment with the Lightning Cave. I will be linking that at the end of the video. He's doing some really great work, and it's amazing to see him grow in his confidence with these videos as well. He's talking more about his history with gaming rather than reviewing games all the time, so something a little bit different to myself. Check it out guys, it's really cool. And there's a few other things to have a look at, but don't forget to find us on social media, Respawning UK, on Twitter and Facebook. Anyway, I've been codenamed Big Bear. You have yourself a great day and be nice to each other, yeah?